Okay. This is slimy.
It's the secrets that make us sick. You can't get what you want to acknowledge. So let's have a conversation of this kind. We're taking it out of the box, yeah. We're taking it out of the box. We're taking it out of the box. You know it's time. So let's talk about it.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing good. Great, Bishop.
Doing good. I love it. Hold on. Let me see if we got our last couple here. There we go. All right. Oops. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. Thank you for agreeing to come on. We're just going to have couples talk. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things and kind of set up. So the first question I kind of want to ask, and I'd like every couple to ask, how's marriage? Let's start with Team Kent.
That's a
very loaded question. And you went through that.
Okay.
You just pulled the pin and threw the grenade out there. It was like,
Yeah,
here.
we jumping right on in there, and we just gonna do it.
what day?
I've been saying since we first got married that marriage is simply glorious. All capital letters, exclamation mark. And it really is. I'm doing something that I haven't seen done, in a couple generations before me, and I feel blessed. But it's work. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. Not because he's not somebody that you can't live with, but because I know I'm somebody that is hard to live with. So in that reality, I'm just grateful every year that he renews my contract in November. He waits to the last minute sometimes, but he comes through with the contract and the raise every year. So,
Got to make them sweat. You
Yeah.
know, you can't just.
Don't make it look too easy. Kevin, don't make it look too easy. Don't make it.
You got to.
Leave the code. How's marriage?
Marriage is awesome. Marriage is a fantastic thing. It's something that's necessary. It's something that's God ordained. It's something that is in its simplistic form the best thing ever, but it's very complicated. So you're gonna have ups and you're gonna have downs. It's just like life in general. You're always going to have different things. The thing is, you have to always have joy, which is just overall arching positivity, even through the rough patches.
All right, Leland, Nicole. What about you guys?
Well, good evening to everyone. Marriage for us is great. Every day is an opportunity to learn more, to grow more, and to grow together. And it's fascinating because even now, after we've been married some 20 some odd years, things are really beginning to gel for us.
Now, I got to sneak in and ask. You said 20 some odd. Do you actually know the number of years, or was that some odd kind of, just rounded it out?
It'll be 22 in October.
Okay, my wife just out in here talking about you wrong.
Incidentally, since you're asking questions, where is Tony?
yeah,
That's
where's
a very good
my
question.
cousin at?
That's a very good question.
Okay,
Right.
see, everybody's asking for you.
Yes, where's my cousin at? We look just alike. Don't we look like twins, y'all?
Where's her chair?
All right, David Marcy.
Sit in his lap, Tony. She don't need no chair.
That's a totally different
Oh,
conversation.
Whole nother conversation, Miss. All right, David Marcy. How's marriage?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's strong. We're big 5 years for us, so we're blended, and yeah. So it's how would you say it?
it's great.
What was that?
It's-
That
I
show?
married my best friend, and
Yeah.
it definitely it does take work, and you got to be intentional about it.
We're blending, like that
We're
movie.
blending.
We're blending. So
I think that's interesting.
We're blending.
I think it's interesting something you said. You married your best friend. Do you other couples feel like your spouse is your best friend, or do you have other best friends?
No.
I have another best friend, but my spouse is like my confidant, my counselor, the person I can talk to about stuff that I may not feel comfortable talking to anyone else about, and I know I can shed some tears with him. So I have a best friend, but he's still my best friend. We just got there, so well, not just, but 22 years of marriage.
Okay.
It took us a minute to get there.
Okay. So, when you decided that this is the person, how did you come to that decision, Kevin?
Who are you asking that?
Asking Kevin, how did you come to the decision? She's the one for me.
Oh man, let me crack at this one.
Okay, I'll let you start first, Leland.
I simply pray and ask God for the woman that He had for me. Now, interesting enough, Nicole and I only dated for 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And then we were engaged for another. We were engaged for another 4 weeks, and on the end of that second, fourth round, we were getting married.
Wow.
And she's my rib, man. Heavy on the sauce, man. And so,
I didn't even know that, Leland. I didn't know that it was basically 2 months from beginning to marry.
yeah, man.
Wow.
Of dating, we knew each other. We knew of each other.
Of each other. Okay.
But
Yeah, from dating to marriage. 2
Yeah.
months. Wow.
And if I start telling the story, man, we'd be here all night.
I want to tell it because some women need to know what she did. Okay.
it was not me. Believe me, when he says it was God, it was truly God. I was in no way, shape, or form looking for a husband.
Mm-hmm.
So our story honestly amazes me. Yeah. It was all him. It was him. I mean, hearing him sing kind of pushed it along a little.
Oh yeah. If y'all don't know about Leland Adams as the singer, you are missing out, because that man has a gift in his mouth. Do you understand me?
Look at that, just sing right to the altar.
I'm gonna steal his line. Baby,
Send you right to the altar. Look at you. So, Kevin, how did you know she was the one?
So the story is a little bit different. I met her my freshman year of college, and we started dating like the next year after that. So it was about 5 years before we got married. So we had known each other for forever, and we kind of grown up. So she met me when I was fresh 18, just turning 19, and from that point forward. So I did have a conversation just like Leland, the same way.
Everybody has their. It's a lot of fun. Does somebody have 2 devices?
Yeah, I got my speaker working in the background.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
So just mute it until we. Okay. No, there you stop it because of the feedback. Is it still feedback too?
That's okay. I'll take care of it. Go ahead on, Kevin.
So the answer is the simplistic, very short answer is I did also pray, and my prayer was, Lord, is she the one? And the Holy Spirit was like, absolutely. And not only is she the one, she's been the one for a long time, and you better jump on it before you mess around and lose it. And so that was resounding. And so then when it confirmed it, when I went to my friends, I went to my family, I went to my friends like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Tanisha to marry me. And they were kind of like, okay, like, you know, about time. Like, you know, it was understood. She had been around so long. She had been, you know, so faithful and loyal, and she had checked off so many different boxes. There was really no need to look anywhere else because she perfectly fit that form, and there was no room for any improvement.
Dave, how did you know Marcy was the one?
I wish I had a beautiful story too like that. But she was my incredible. You know, I had certain things I was looking for in a woman, and I described all those things to her, and I was like, and she knew I was talking about her, so she kind of made me say it. But yeah, she's my incredible.
Yeah, you just can't have people think. You got to put it out there, put them words out there, put it in the atmosphere, make it life. That's right. You can. That's why she had to make you say it.
He's shy. He doesn't act like it, but sometimes, but he's shy.
You know what? Dave is shy, but he sings and plays the guitar openly.
Yeah.
So you shy to talk, but you're not shy to sing.
Well, I'm scared. I'm scared the whole time I'm singing too. They call that passion.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. Nicole, what is y'all's or has been y'all's biggest argument?
Wow. I think the biggest and longest lasting one would be communication. Because I don't know if it's because Leland is a man. I don't know if it's because it's just part of the Black culture, but he struggles with communicating. And I'm one of those, what's wrong? How are you feeling? What's going on? And it's good. So it's been our longest lasting one. And probably the biggest one that lasts for a while. Now, there have been some like holler scream ones, but they didn't last as long. So,
all right, what's y'all's biggest argument, or has been y'all's biggest argument?
Which one you said?
Marcy?
Who?
You.
Oh, me. Oh, our biggest argument? Well, we're a blended family, so that's an easy one. It's the kids. They get in the way. And I mean, I love them because in case they see this, we love y'all. We love y'all. But we have 5, and they were all teenagers at one time when we first got married. And so we had 5 teenagers in the house, and we had 7 mouths feeding, and all different personalities of blending together, and how they were raised were different the way my kids were raised, and that blending and the disciplining of all the kids, that's been the biggest struggle, is the blending of the disciplining of the kids and how we see things, and the merging of the 2 families, because it's 2 families, not one family. It's 2 families coming in. And even though you're a blended family, you're still kind of two families still a little bit. And, you know,
it takes a while to meld.
Yeah, you're going to meld together, but you're forming something completely different. And so, but you are one unit, but there's still some individualism of the 2 families that came together. And so there's been struggles that way. I think that's our biggest one, is that one. And I don't think it's a Black culture about the communication. I think it's a man thing. So we'll have to work about that, because I think
human.
Yeah, we don't have a very big vocabulary, you know. How you doing? Good.
Did you say 5 teenagers?
We had 5 at the time we had 5 teenagers in the house. Right now we have 4 in college, and one's at home right now, working remotely at college, and 1 16-year-old, and the rest have finally moved on into a different realm. So we're very happy that they're happy, because we're happy that they're happy.
I can only imagine 5 teenagers. Oh my God!
You imagine? I mean, our meals. Yeah, we would eat dinner, and our meals, because we sat together every night, would be at least an hour long, because we would have communication, and it would be loud and wonderful. And we do miss those times. But
yeah, they were great times.
Yeah, but it was a struggle.
So long that your butt starts falling asleep. You're like,
Tanisha, what's y'all's biggest argument?
So, whoa. Let me just say.
Wait a minute. wait a minute. My name's Tanisha.
Let me just say it because I want to be the person.
No. I got this. No.
He's like, I got this.
Okay. Our biggest argument is him interrupting. I'm just playing. Honestly, I would say over the years, the most consistent argument would be us learning how to show each other love the way that person wants to receive love. So a lot of times people tend to show the person love the way they want to receive love, but you have to learn your spouse and show them love the way your spouse wants to receive love. So if you like to receive gifts, you can't go keep giving your spouse gifts and expect them to buy you gifts. And they're just like, oh, wow, my wife is awesome. She just bought me this awesome gift. But if your spouse likes words of affirmation, then that's what you give them. So that's been the most consistent thing that we've had to discuss. And then, of course, we've been together since we were kids. So that has changed over the last 20 years. So just having those consistent talks, okay, well, I like that. And then, me, I change a lot with hair and everything. So it changes. I just had to let them know this season, fall of 2018, I like compliments. So keep it coming, stuff like that.
I like that, Roy. Can I comment on that? Because
yes,
that was one of my hardest things was telling Leland how I wanted to receive love. I would just want something and expect him to feel it coming off of me. Like I may want him to come home and do something. And instead of me saying, hey, I need a hug, or hey, can you do this for me? Right. I would just expect him to know. And then it would irritate me that he didn't catch on. Mm-hmm. But the older I got and the longer we've been married, I've learned to just tell him what I need. Like if I need some attention, I need to say, hey, I need some attention. So yeah,
exactly.
You guys have all kind of talked about the communication issue, and I remember telling this story many times before, but we do, just in our nature, we do kind of communicate very, very differently in terms of men and women. And one of the biggest, I think, arguments that Tony and I have had was about how to communicate, because one of the things that she would come home and she would ask me, hey, how was your day? And like Dave, I would say good, Leland say good, this, that, and the other. And then she would be wanting me to say more. Well, that's all it was good. I don't have anything else to add to it. Right? It was good.
Not the preaching.
Learning was that we were communicating so differently. Her question really wasn't, how was your day? It was, what happened today? Mm-hmm. And when I asked her, how was your day? She would go, okay, well, I did this, and then this, one of my employees did this, and then, oh my God, then I got this email. And so she'd go in this long tirade of stuff. And in my mind, I'm going, I just asked how your day was. Why are you telling me? And so I didn't respond how she wanted me to. And she responded way more than I wanted her to. But because we kept missing each other in terms of understanding what the other one was actually looking for. And I think that typically happens in relationships, is you have to learn how to communicate. So I like the fact that Nicole, you said, hey, I wanted him to just know what it is that I needed from him. And the truth is, it would always be very difficult for him to do that without you having told him. But Marcy, I have an interesting question from one of our listeners, Bishop Foreman. He says, what would you tell your single self about where you are right now?
Regarding marriage and couple.
Regarding marriage and relationships.
I would probably say that be a little more patient. Be a little bit more forgiving. Like cut David give him more grace than what I wish to receive. Because that in reflection right now, that's where I am right now, is realizing that I need to be a little bit more graceful towards him. So that's what I would tell myself. But it's not those little things are not as big as I make them in my mind, and I need to be more forgiving. To be more forgiving towards others.
That's really interesting because I do think I'm a type A person. You know, that's who I am, and I know you are as well. And that's been a challenge. I'll be honest for me, because there are times that I just, I slap my forehead and just be like, "Geez, why can't you get it? Why can't you understand? Why can't you just?" And I have to. I agree. I think showing a lot more grace towards each other is really good. Leland, what would you tell your single self?
I think if I was to talk with my single self, I would definitely tell him to listen more. And when I say listen, I'm not saying just listen. I'm saying you need to hear what she's saying. And I think three of the most main things that are needed in a relationship, a successful relationship, is, first of all, commitment, communication, and I would say Christ, because where I can't fix me, as much as I want to change for her, I'm built a certain way, and so in that I know that he can help me to become, or in essence, help us to become one. And so you need to be able to communicate, listen, and be honest and be open. I remember one time when we were at each other. I just simply told Nicole, just give me some time, because I want to do, and I want to be the man that you want me to be, but I know that I can't fix me. I need that extra help. I need God working in my life. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Nicole, what do you want to say?
She do like it.
Yeah, she did.
I remember that moment, and I love you. But to be honest, I felt like I had been giving him time after time. And this all goes back to communication. It's the same thing. Like Leland is loving but not loving. I don't even know if that makes sense. Like, if I come to him and I'm in tears about something he has done, he's like, it's gonna be all right. Like, and it's not that he doesn't care. He just,
I'm sorry.
that's what he does too. Like, I'm sorry. So in that moment, I remember feeling like how much more time do I need to give you? Patience. Like Marcy, it's Marcy, right? Like she said, that patience is not my strongest point. And I honestly, because he is in the position he is in, I felt like he should already be there. I shouldn't have to do anything. I felt like you should already be in this place. So it took me a while, but yeah, like he said,
and I'm a better man because of it.
You're a better man because of it?
That's right.
All right, let me switch gears just a little bit. Dave, what? No, not Dave. I meant Kevin. Kevin, what food reminds you of Tanisha and why?
Easy. It is tuna fish. And let me explain why. So let me explain why.
Okay.
So I have to do the explanation. So get your giggles out before because I need you to understand and do this explanation.
Okay.
So,
Hopefully the smell thing.
So I'm gonna keep it a whole 100, and keep it all the way true with on Bishop's show. So we're gonna spit 100% truth over here.
Okay.
I might have started talking to Tanisha before I finished my entanglement with somebody else.
I was the entanglement, I guess.
So she gave me an ultimatum and said, I remember like clear as day, she gave me an ultimatum. She said, I deserve better. I deserve to be your full girlfriend, and I deserve all of you. If you can't give me that, then I'm going to give you none of me. And me being as cocky, and plus it was college. We sit in the dorm. My boys are sitting over there. She calls me, and I'm like, all right, forget it then. I don't care. So then we didn't talk to each other for a whole semester and a half. I'm talking about staying in the same dorm, going to the same classes, walking past each other like she was a complete stranger. Wow. She walked past me like I did not exist. We could sit in the same computer lab. Too, honey. And so what happened was I texted her and asked her, because we stayed in the same dorm, it was summer. I said, hey, do you have the stuff to make tuna fish? And she says, well, yeah, what do you have? And I said, cans of tuna. That's it. And so she said, I'll bring the rest. She came down to my room, and that was the first time we had a conversation, and we never stopped talking since then.
So that was his way of being, all right.
Yeah. Wow. Dave, what?
So now tuna makes sense.
Now tuna makes sense. Okay. Dave, what food reminds you of Marcy?
Oh, totally not prepared for any of these questions.
No.
That's the point. You can't be prepared.
What would it be? Well, only thing that comes to mind is the kiss. Her carne asada.
Oh.
It takes a long time to spread and get it nice and tender. It takes a lot of work to it, and she's all about presentation and
that's the teacher principle in her. It has to be presented right.
Yep.
So Marcy, when are you making carne asada, by the way? I volunteer to test
I'll trade some for a sweet potato pie. We already have this going on. You know that.
Yeah.
Yours is the only sweet potato pie that I like. So
he makes good pie. He makes good pie.
It's a good sweet potato pie. I will trade some carne asada for that.
I hadn't even tried it yet.
We're gonna get on that very, very soon. We'll talk about it later. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you think about how did you guys decide, and I'll start with you, Leland and Nicole. How did you guys decide how your relationship was going to work in terms of who was going to fulfill what roles in the relationship?
Well, as a couple who, me being in the church, as a father figure, as a husband, I think those roles are given. They just kind of play out in a sense. The man being the protector, the provider, the priest, and so forth. Yet at the same time, it is a cooperative work that we share. For instance, I remember a time when Nicole got sick and she wasn't able to do any of it. I tried my best to comb my baby's hair, and made a mess of it. But I did the best I could do.
That's right.
That's right.
You did.
So and when I got
should have just asked somebody.
Yeah. but we share a common thread that for our household and the roles that we play. We kind of established that long time ago.
Yeah, but when we had children, it changed. And I came from a home of women, so it took me a minute to adjust to being able to release some of my independence and allow him to be that protector and provider, because I was used to watching my mom do everything and take care of everything. So I fussed at him a lot about communication, but it was kind of hypocritical of me because I handled a lot of stuff on my own and wouldn't say a word to him until after it was done or handled, or I couldn't handle it anymore and I needed help with it. And then when the kids came along, I realized that it wasn't me and them, it was me and him and them, because I struggled to put him with me. It was always, for a long time, it was me and the kids. I don't want to say against him, but that's kind of what it seemed like. So it took me a minute to realize what my role was supposed to be.
They had a family meeting on me.
They
needed a family meeting.
They had a family meeting on me. They called me to the carpet, man.
Are you serious?
At 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I need to be a nicer dad. I need to be a nicer husband. I need, And so a week went by with no fuss, and then she started fussing.
But Leland, I remember I had to do Haley's hair one time for school, and I didn't realize, and neither did Tony, that it was picture day. And I did the best I could, but that ponytail was hotched up to the center of her head and all of that. And so I remember when the pictures came home, when Tony got home and saw her, she was like, "What did you do to her head?" I said, "Hey, I combed it. You had to go to work early. I did what dads are supposed to do. I jumped in. I took care of it." And she said, "Oh my God, that looks awful." And I was like, "Well, thank you too. You could have did it, but you were at work." And then so Haley was like, "And it was picture day." That ruined everything, because then the argument really ensued that I allowed the baby to go to school and take a picture with her head all out of whack. Hey, I get it, Leland. Nisha, how did you guys come to decide how you were going to work in terms of roles in your relationship? I know you do. You kind of remind me a lot of how your grandmother did things. So
everybody says that. So when I was little, honestly, that's what I wanted. I started praying for my husband at 12. Not like, crazy, like, "Oh Lord, let him be this or that." But I started praying about staying married and not getting divorced when I was 12 years old. That's what I mean when I say that. I wanted something different. I wanted what my grandparents had. And so as me and him started discussing things as we got older, like I said, we met when we were kids, and talking about staying together and not breaking up when you're 18 is totally different, when you're in your 20s and stuff like that. But everything that I wanted, he wanted too. And it just made everything easier, which also further confirmed what we already knew. So I didn't want any questions about any of that. I mean, when I walked into that class we had together, the very first class, when I started college, the Holy Spirit told me that was my husband. And I was like, "Oh no." But it worked out to be the best.
The devil is a lie.
Yeah, so I just thank God. That's the point. Like, everything that you think you want, especially women, we love to make a list. I'm going to do this. He going to do this. It'd be long, like an old scroll with the original testaments written on it. Okay. Like Noah and carry tablets. It'd be long and thick. And honestly, none of that even matters. What matters is you asking God to put things in place to help you be better. And that person is going to come and he's going to match what you need so that you both can be awesome. Everything that I'm good at, he's not good at everything I'm good at. So when it came to the roles and everything, even, I'm a housewife, I'm a homeschooler, I'm doing things nobody in my family is doing. And that's weird, some people. So I'm grateful that
there's something to be said about how the Bible lays out the gender roles. and how the man is the provider and the woman takes care of the house. The P31 woman is the example, that should be set. So there's something to be said about the old school. Now, I understand that things change. I understand why things change, but there is something, the grandparents and the great-great-great-grandparents had something, there was something to that. And the further we get away from that, the more it starts to show that there is something to the traditional roles. Me going out and working and providing and bringing it home, but trusting that she has everything taken care of here at the house. My kids, my home, she's my support system. She handles everything. And at the same time, she doesn't have to worry about, the stuff that I have assigned. So, I'm going to bring home, I'm going to make sure the bills are paid. I'll make sure she has money to do everything she wants. And so that's my job. She's great at her job. We focused on it and we made sure that we could trust each other in those roles.
Exactly. And then I don't go back and harp on his job, so if trash is an issue, whether he takes the trash out himself or he delegates it to the teenager, if it gets done, it gets done. So that kind of helps, minimize those arguments and stuff like that too.
I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit. Marcy, what is your favorite your favorite thing that Dave has ever done for you?
Ooh, he does so many things. He's actually really romantic. He doesn't look like he's romantic, but he is. Gosh, he does so many things. One of the best presents I got was there's this table I love called the Ostrich in Love, and that's something that connected us. So I shared that with him. And he had it made look like old timey. He did it handmade, and we were secretly texting each other while we were courting one another, and he framed it, and the back of it was our secret text messages to each other. And nobody knew it was there, and it would sit on a desk or something, and he burned it looking like it was from the 1800s. And
that's so sweet.
He soaked it in coffee, and it was handmade. And there's that song by Blake Shelton about the doing what she likes. That song there. And so he recreated the whole song, and it says like, I come home with fajitas and margaritas, and he came home with stuff with fajitas and margaritas. He lit up watermelon candles, and in the song it says that. So he got he got watermelon candles, and just relived the whole video, the whole song.
Wow!
And he learned songs for me. He sings songs for me. So.
Dave, don't be making the rest of us look bad. Don't be
bad.
That's just rude.
I would say just very, very romantic.
Nicole, what is the best gift Leland has ever given you outside of children and that kind of
thing? He was ready to unmute on that. He touched everybody fast. His is actually very similar to David and Marcy's. He actually wrote me out a poem kind of that described me and put pictures of us and our family on there and framed it. And I was in one of my girl moods. Sometimes I don't even know why I get in them. But I went outside for something, and I came back in the house, or he came back in the house, and he handed it to me, and it brought tears to my eyes. It wasn't something that he went out and spent a lot of money for. It was from his heart, and it was rare for me to receive things from Leland like that. So not saying all of his gifts are not from his heart, but that was like where he actually put some thought into the words that he put down. And that one still makes my heart like flutter a little.
That's pretty cool, Leland. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to support that day.
Yeah, you want to support that day. Tanisha, what was Kevin's most favorite gift?
I think when he threw my 30th birthday party, it was at a karaoke place, and I love karaoke. and completely out of his comfort zone to get up and sing and things like that. And he had everybody there was somebody that was special to me. And yeah, that was my favorite anything he's ever done for me.
Kevin, you got up and sang karaoke?
Yeah, I did actually. I did anything for my baby. So yeah, like, you know, yeah, it's outside. See, y'all laughing because y'all gentlemen sing. I don't sing. You put a mic in my hand, I talk and preach. I don't sing. So so that was outside of the comfort zone, way outside. But like, yeah, it was really cool. I went I tried to do what she does for me. She had set the bar really high for my 30th, and so I got her like a special cake. It would look like a MAC makeup palette, and like I got her some presents, like, you know. Yeah, so it looked like when you open it up, it had the mirror and everything. It looked exactly like a makeup palette. The cake did, and then like she loves a specific purse, and I got her 3 of those purses.
Wow. You know, since y'all have asked the question, I'll answer it too. I've had parties before, but Tony threw an amazing 50th birthday party for me last year. Tomorrow's my birthday too, by the way. I'll be 51.
Happy birthday, cuz.
Happy birthday, man.
And she threw a 50th party, and I mean, you know, me in my head, I'm going, you didn't really spend that much, did you? I mean, you rented all of this, you had food catered, like we could have just ate something, you know, but she's like, no, I wanted it to be really, really special. And so she really did. So I really appreciate that for her, because it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. Okay, let's switch gears again. What do you do for fun together, Marcy and Dave? What do y'all do for fun?
Well,
cruises.
I'm so scared to go on a cruise. Tony wants me to, but I'm scared.
Yeah. The biggest thing I think that we appreciate about each other is that we love to play together. Like, he is my favorite playmate. And when we got married, his son was the ring bearer, and he, you know, those what do they call those machines? The green. You remember the green machine growing up? That little
three-wheeler.
The three-wheeler.
Oh yeah.
So the youngest, Joshua, was the ring bearer, and he didn't know it. And I had this sign that said in the front, it said, to my favorite your favorite playmate's coming, or something like that. And he rode in on the green machine because David always wanted one when he was growing up, and that's what we say to each other. We're our favorite playmates. Like, if I want to go play and enjoy something, I want to do it with him. That's who I want to do it with. That's what I've wanted to have for the longest time.
That's pretty cool. Tanisha and Kevin, what do y'all do for fun together?
You know what we do for fun.
No, like, it's crazy and it sounds weird, but like, I enjoy just sitting and talking. Or even when we're out, we're doing things, we're constantly saying jokes to each other. So it's like we have one constant inside joke that's continual forever and ever. Like, we'll look at each other, or sometimes something will happen. All I gotta do is just turn and give her a look, and then she just busted out laughing because she knows what I'm thinking. Or, you know, it's fun that way. We always play games, and like, we do a lot of stuff, you know, just board games and all kinds of things. But it's fun being with her because we can turn anything into fun, even the most mundane things into fun, by just looking at her and we're laughing together.
Wow. Nicole and Leland, what do y'all do for fun together?
Oh man, we have a list of things that we do. We love to travel.
I love to travel.
Yeah. We like to try different restaurants when we go out to eat. I'm one of those guys that, you know, if I've had it once, I want to move on to something. I want to do something different. I don't want to eat the same place or whatnot. And
We played a video game together.
Yeah.
Leland doesn't like playing with us because he says we kill him, but we play that. And then we actually started out. And we actually started out watching movies together. That was our thing. Like we have, I don't even know how many.
Man, we had like almost 3 bookshelves of VHS. That's how long we've been together. We started out with VHS tapes.
You are absolutely aging.
And he will not get rid of VHS tapes though. Like I've been trying to get rid of those.
Listen, these were markers. These were markers for us. And so I'm like, we can't get rid of the VHSs until we replace them with DVDs. You know what I'm saying? And so
everything is online now. We don't get it as the DVD. But he will not. But that's how we started out. We would go get a movie like when they come out, and we'd watch it together, eat dinner together. I love to cook and watch people eat my food. I love.
Yeah, and you didn't give me an opportunity to answer that question.
So we have a lot of fun together. We do a lot of things together.
Yeah.
And we'd love for y'all to watch us eat your food.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We can help you with that.
I volunteer too.
My granny always said my granny always said the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So when I married Leland, I learned how to cook because there were people at his job cooking him food, and I couldn't have that.
It was in her genes.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
It was in her genes.
It was a girl that used to bake cookies for Kevin, and I shut all that down. Ain't no sunny noodles for my food.
He came home with a fire once. No, but
to be fair, that was for the whole apartment, like all of my roommates. But I was the only one not able to eat the cookies.
I bet he didn't eat no cookies. I bet he didn't eat.
That's right. Shut it down.
Now be no cinnamon.
So, Tanisha and Kevin, I'm gonna ask you this. This is another kind of shift. Y'all been married for a long time. Do you feel like you are still growing in love, or have you reached like the pinnacle, the peak, and you just maintain?
No, I love him differently for everything that he's accomplished. Like, for example, our pastor was preaching like 2 weeks ago, and he was making a comment about how the buildings around us that are owned by the same landlord have been deferring their rent because of the pandemic. And I was just sitting there, and he was like, we are blessed because our church hasn't had to defer rent. And I just kind of looked at my husband, and I was like, of all the things that we've been through, he's never missed paying anything. Nobody's ever come to our house and taken a thing, no matter what the job situation looked like. And when we got home, I said that to him, and I was like, thank you. So I don't think you ever get to a point where you stop. It's just now I'm noticing him, the same way I did when we first got married. I loved him for him. But then when we had our oldest son, I loved him for being a father. And now I'm just so grateful for how he provides, and like our oldest son is 13 now, and just showing him how to be a man. So I love him at different levels.
I don't think that I've topped out on my love for her, because I feel like we're continuing to grow, and the more she matures, I love her faith. I love her walk. I love her ministry. I love those things about her also, and those things continue to grow. I feel like it's a path or of us walking together and getting closer and closer. And even though like the young passion that we had year one is way different than it is here, year 13, it's way different. However, the love is stronger because the passion is still there, but it's a little bit more in the background, and the strong love for all of who she genuinely, truly is there way more than just the passion of the act of marriage, the consummation of marriage.
She's talking this now. Dave and Marcy, what about you? What about you?
I think we're growing. I definitely had more to learn than she did. Because my dad, he taught me the basics. You got to provide and protect. But relationship part, I didn't really see that much in my home. So Marcy's really helped me grow there a lot.
Marcy?
Oh, well, he helped loosen me up because I was a little bit wound up tight. And so I needed to, I guess, just kind of unwind and be able to relax and not always have to achieve and work and do. And so it's a good balance. And I think that's what we're doing right now, is learning that balance. And that's what I appreciate about him. Of course, what you appreciate is also what you complain about too. So, you know, we have that sharpening too, where my expectations can be higher, and then he's more of a laid back person. And
the comic relief.
Yeah, he's the comic relief. And so, you know, there's great times and there's not such great times, but we're merging together. We're still learning each other. I mean, it's 5 years, so we're still like newlyweds trying to figure each other out. We're not in the honeymoon phase where we're blinded by love and lust. It's more of learning how to grow together. And since our kids are almost all grown, it's more about being a partner to one another and just being there for one another. For that companionship is the most important thing.
All right, same question to you, Leland and Nicole.
Yeah, we're still growing. We're still growing in love. I love it that after 20 some odd years, I can look at Nicole and the sunlight is hitting her just right. And,
you trying to get
Leland, you don't need no more babies, okay?
listen, man. It's because I thank God that we are still, you know, affectionate towards each other, and we can, you know, share that with each other. And sometimes, you know, it's at the same time, and that boggles my mind that you know, that I'm just so, you know, overwhelmed with her in that fashion. You know, I agree with you know, with Marcy and Team Kemp about how, you know, we are a perfect fit for each other. I mean, when we go to bat, you know, for our kids, Nicole she's the you know, she's the one who's like, you know, and I'm cool, calm, and collective. You know, I'm like, you know,
until he sits up.
You know, I'm like, babe, calm down. You know, because we don't want to get called out. We don't want them to call the popo on us, and so it just works for us, and God has blessed us with that union and that connection that. It just boggles my mind. So yeah, we're still growing. I don't think there will ever be a plateau for us to get there.
Well, he said everything. I guess I could say I agree.
Well, I have another question for you then, Nicole. Okay. And this will be the last question for everybody. What's something about love or marriage that you used to believe that you no longer believe?
Something about love or marriage I used to believe that I no longer believe. That divorce was an option.
Oh, yes, Lord.
I watched it. I watched it in my family. I watched it with all of the women that I looked up to, except for my grandmother. Her husband passed away. But there were so many times because of the woman that I didn't come into our marriage. And I don't think I've ever said this to Leland. I didn't come into our marriage prepared to be a wife. I was an independent woman. And I really, truly believe God was like, no, this is where you're going right now. And this is what is for you. So when I came in, when things would happen right away, that's where my mind went, divorce, like, because it was what I was used to. But I don't believe that now. I don't believe there's a devil in hell that can separate us. We're going to go through some things, and I'm thankful to God that he is still patient with me, because I have issues with trust, and it comes from childhood. But that calm when I'm crying and in tears, where he's like, it's all right. It's better that he's that way. somebody has to be calm, and I'm not the calm one. So I think right now, where I am in marriage, I just know it's not optional. Like, it's not a thing that we're even going to consider. He has said it several times, but I believe it now. So.
All right. And Marcy and Dave, I'll let you guys answer, and then we'll end with Kevin and Tanisha. What's something you guys believed about love or marriage that you no longer do?
That's a deep one, Roy. You should have given us like a heads up on that one.
I had to end on a strong note.
Like, what do you want to end that is true? Now he's like, what you don't believe. Like, dang. She's like,
Go ahead, baby.
Look at Dave. Go ahead, old baby.
what I no longer believe is true. Well, she took the answer. Gosh, I don't believe that you have to get along. And I guess I don't believe anymore that there is a perfect person. There isn't going to be a perfect person. And there aren't ever perfect couples. I don't believe it's true. I think that there's a facade about the perfection of couples. Like, we're all laughing and smiling, but in reality, you put us in cameras at home, and we're arguing, yelling, and screaming at each other, and maybe y'all aren't. But we have conflict, and that I guess I don't believe it's true that there are perfect marriages. I think there are imperfect people working together, and we have phenomenal days, and we have horrible days, and so I just don't think there's those perfect couples and perfect people anymore.
Okay. Hey, you want to add something, or you want me to move on?
You can move on, Roy.
No,
I want to hear Kevin.
All right, Kevin, Tanisha.
So for me, I would say I no longer believe that God has to fix my spouse in order to change things in a marriage. I learned a long time ago that whenever you have issues and you're praying, oh, I wish this could, Lord, I want this, but he doesn't ever fix the spouse. He changes your heart. So there are qualities that can annoy you. And then eventually you honestly learn to appreciate those qualities in your spouse. So that's my big thing that I've learned in 13 years.
So you did say annoy you twice. Were you trying to put some emphasis on that?
Oh, yeah.
What you trying to say?
Exponentially.
I learned there's no perfect time to get married. You talk to people all the time. They're like, oh, once I get this, especially men, once I get this and this and this done, I get to this job, I get to this graduate college. Once I get to this economic status, then I'll be ready for marriage. The reality is you find favor of the Lord once you get married. So then you'll be able to obtain all of those things that you want, and you'll be able to have an advocate to push you to those things, because you're never going to, it's never a perfect time. You just got to step out on faith and watch God. Watch God work.
And that's honestly our biggest regret, that we didn't get married sooner. Because listening to people saying, you got to wait till you graduate college, you got to wait for this. But when you know, okay, I'm mad it didn't take me 4 months, okay? Come
4
on,
months, 4 weeks, and then 4 weeks. 2 months in, you're done. They got that thing locked down. You ain't going nowhere.
Well, I want to thank everybody, you all, for, a lot of times I do, this show really deals with really deep, heavy topics and conversations. And it's a lot of really, sometimes even taboo things that people don't like to talk about. And I wanted to do something that was a lot more light, a lot more fun, just to kind of talk to couples and just kind of everybody talk. So I want to absolutely thank you guys for agreeing to come on today. I wish you all the very best, and I will see all of you viewers next week. So everybody take care. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you.